What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Fulltime MMA, and we are here today to break down UFC 278 going down this Saturday, August 20th at 10 p.m. Eastern. The main card starts, and that is what we will be giving our live breakdown and predictions for. But also, stay tuned. We will be going live for the fights. We will be doing a live fight companion, so make sure you check back with us on Saturday night and tune into the live fight companion. It's going down. Now, before we get started breaking down this UFC 278 pay-per-view and giving our predictions, make sure you smash the thumbs up button, the subscribe button, and the notification bell. Don't be a baby back bagel biting beta male, because you know what time it is. It's full-time MMA. That's right, this Saturday, UFC 278 goes down, and it's going to be headlined by Kamaru Usman, the reigning defending welterweight champion, taking on Leon Edwards in a rematch of a fight that Leon Edwards, it was the last fight Leon Edwards lost before going on a, I believe, 9-fight winning streak. Kamaru Usman is on the verge of breaking Anderson Silva's UFC winning streak record at 16 wins. I believe Kamaru Usman is at 15 right now, so if he wins this fight, he will tie Anderson Silva. Very impressive feat there. In the co-main event, we've got Paulo, the Eraser Costa, taking on Luke Rockhold in a battle of what could be the two, I was gonna say sexiest men in the UFC, but come on, man, I didn't want to have to break out the, I just shivered thinking about it. Pause, you guys, but you know what I'm saying. These motherfuckers look like two male models, and they're in there in the UFC throwing motherfucking haymakers at each other. Somebody's probably going down. It's gonna be a good fight. Two top middleweight contenders. We've also got former champion Jose Aldo, former bantamweight kingpin, former featherweight kingpin, current bantamweight contender Jose Aldo taking on Merab Dvalishvili in a fight that I am extremely excited for. Jose Aldo is back, looking like he is ready for another title contention, looking like he's ready to fight for that bantamweight title one last time before getting out of the division. He's a legend and a future Hall of Famer, but Merab Dvalishvili is a Sambo master. He's a phenomenal grappler, and he's just had a lot of dominant performances en route to his potential own title shot, which, even if he wins, his teammate's the current champion. Merab Dvalishvili clearly trains with the best bantamweight in the world in Aljamain Sterling. That could bring a whole level of drama as far as will the teammates fight. I don't believe they will. But either way, there's a lot of top bantamweight contenders up there. I mean, we've got Sugar Sean O'Malley taking on Peter Yan. We just had Marlon Vera knock out Dominic Cruz. We've got a lot of top contending fights up there for the winner and potential loser of Jose Aldo versus Merab Dvalishvili. We've got the heavyweights, Marcin Tybura versus the undefeated heavyweight who made his UFC debut in the Eagle FC, Khabib Nurmagomedov's fight promotion. This guy has just been extremely active, building up his undefeated streak, 16-0. I'm excited to see what he has on this pay-per-view. And then, of course, Tyson Pedro, Tai Tuivasa's running mate, he's got a fight as well to open up the pay-per-view. So this is going to be a stacked card. I can't wait. And without further ado, let's jump straight into the main event. Kamaru Usman versus Leon Edwards 2. It's going down in the main event. Kamaru Usman is the reigning defending UFC middleweight champion, and UFC welterweight champion, and he's on the path to become known as one of the greatest fighters of all time. He's on the cusp, as I said earlier, of tying Anderson Silva's UFC winning streak record. What Kamaru Usman is doing right now is unheard of. Incredible is an understatement. He's not only beating all of the top contenders while defending his title, but he's beating them twice. He's currently riding a 19-fight winning streak, 15 of those being in the UFC. Leon Edwards is getting the ultimate chance to avenge his last loss since going on a 9-fight winning streak in the UFC. This time, however, he'll be fighting Kamaru Usman for the welterweight championship, and it will be 5 rounds. He's done a fine job getting to this title shot, but his chances of his stance of waiting for this title fight has left him pretty inactive. He's only fought 3 fights in almost 3.5 years. His most recent fight against Nate Diaz, it was notable, but Nate Diaz and Kamaru Usman are completely different caliber opponents. And so with that being said, it's almost like he got through a softball, and now he's going to get thrown a gigantic curveball from one of the best pitchers, if you know what I'm saying. So this is a much different change of pace for Leon Edwards as he steps in to face Kamaru Usman. And for those reasons, I'm going to be taking Kamaru Usman to win this fight. He's been more active fighting against higher level competition. And what he's been doing, he's not only beaten everybody, he's beaten everybody twice. And this will be Leon Edwards' chance to get his second ass whipping at the hands of the Nigerian Nightmare, Kamaru Usman. Moving on to Paulo Costa versus Luke Rockhold. Both of these guys are currently riding two-fight losing skids. Paulo Costa's current skid, the losses came to Israel Adesanya and the current middleweight champion, and then most recently Marvin Vettori. His last win came almost 3 years ago against Yoel Romero. Luke Rockhold is currently riding a two-fight losing streak as well to Yoel Romero and most recently Jan Blachowicz. But that fight was almost 3 years ago. That's right, Luke Rockhold's most recent UFC fight was 3 years ago. Luke has lost 3 of his last 4 fights via KO TKO, leaving everyone to wonder if he has a chin. His only win in the last 6 years was against David Branch back in 2017. Luke Rockhold has had a very lackluster ending to his career since losing his title to Michael Bisping. I've got to take Paulo Costa to win this fight. He's younger, he's more active, and he's got a win over common opponent Yoel Romero. Also, arguably a much better chin. It would be cool to see Luke win a fight for the first time in over 5 years, but it's hard to envision it at this point against a top contender. I feel like Luke needs to be given a lower-ranked opponent to get his confidence in his skills and his chin, the confidence in his chin back. So Luke Rockhold, I feel like, needs a softball opponent if he's going to get back on track, and Paulo Costa is not a softball opponent. I'm taking Paulo Costa to win this fight. Next, we've got Jose Aldo taking on Merab, the little Thundercat, Fireball, Dvalishvili. Those are the things that come to mind when I see Merab Dvalishvili fight. Jose Aldo is a legend and future Hall of Famer. He's arguably one of the greatest fighters of all time. He's currently riding a 3-fight winning streak, which snapped a 3-fight losing streak, but 2 of those losses were to 2 of the best fighters in the world, Petr Yan and Alexander Volkanovski. Jose Aldo has competed against the best fighters in the world longer than Merab Dvalishvili has been fighting in the UFC. That being said, Merab's riding a 7-fight win streak with some pretty dominant performances in the process, using his very high-level sambo and grappling. He also trains with the current UFC bantamweight champion Aljamain Sterling, which is why this is a really tough fight to call. I feel like Jose Aldo has earned the benefit of the doubt with his resume and streak to beat any unproven contenders. But I've just been so impressed with Merab's performances and ability to dominate with his pace and grappling that I know he's got a good chance to win this fight, in addition to the fact that he trains with Aljamain Sterling. This fight is one of the toughest fights for me to call of the night. I'm going to have to go with Jose Aldo, out of respect for the legend. He's fought to a decision with Volkanovski, he's made it to the 5th round with Petr Yan, and he's been fighting legit title contenders since before Merab was in the UFC. Merab has a good path to victory, utilizing his wrestling and sambo, which will be an extremely tough test for Aldo, but Aldo has beat elite wrestlers in the past before, when he beat Chad Mendes, when he's beat Frankie Edgar, and when he just fights high-level guys like Petr Yan and others who have high-level wrestling. So we do know Aldo has great takedown defense, he's well-rounded, he's got knees and kicks he can fire off, and when Merab shoots takedowns, he's got ways to defend against that grappling, so I'm going to pick Jose Aldo to win this fight. On to the heavyweights, the big boys. Marcin Tybura recently had his 5-fight winning streak snapped when he lost a unanimous decision to Alexander Volkov. He's 9-6 in the UFC against decent competition, but he's never beat any top contenders. Not yet, at least. Alexander Romanov is 16-0, undefeated as a professional. He made his UFC debut at Khabib's promotion Eagle FC back in 2017, which means Alexander Romanovs have been very actively kicking ass and taking names. He's fought and won 16 fights since 2017. He's finished 15 of his 16 opponents, including Chase Sherman most recently. This is a tough fight to call, but I've got to go with the undefeated dominant force Alexander Romanov. This will be his toughest test to date, but I believe he'll pass it with his dominant grappling. I'm taking Alexander Romanov to remain undefeated. Next, we've got Tyson Pedro. This is a gift from the MMA gods and the matchmakers. This is the softball UFC should be giving Luke Rockhold. Tyson Pedro is almost a 7-1 favorite against Harry Hunsucker, who is 8-5. All 5 of those losses via KO TKO. He's 0-3 in the UFC and Contender Series combined. Harry Hunsucker is a jobber who probably got his contract because he took a fight on short notice, but nothing on his resume says he belongs in the UFC, and this is probably just his last fight on his contract. The UFC is allowing him to fight before he goes to a lower level promotion. If Tyson Pedro loses this fight, he might consider retirement because this is one of the easiest fights the UFC is ever going to be able to give you. With that being said, I'm taking Tyson Pedro to win, and it is what it is. Let the Full-Time family know what you think in the comments. What are your predictions for Usman versus Edwards 2? Who do you got in the co-main event, Paulo Costa versus Luke Rockhold? Drop it in the comments. I want to see. I'm out.